What's up, y'all? It's Chris here to give my thoughts on this weekend's upcoming Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez third fight. Um, Apologies if I don't sound right. I'm still trying to get over whatever the hell sickness I've been having for the last few days. But regardless of that, looking forward to this fight. Been watching HBO 24/7. I guess the only real insight we can gain from it is the fact that Manny Pacquiao is more focused than ever, so Freddie Roach and Alex Reese and everyone else says. Take that for what it's worth. And Juan Manuel Marquez is working with the new strength and conditioning coach who has a shady background. Either way, Marquez is apparently bulking up for this fight. I guess building his muscle better than he did for the Mayweather match as far as going up in weight. So we'll see how that works out for him come Saturday night. As for the fight, Manny's coming off that unanimous decision win over Shane Mosley. Not the most appealing fight, but most of that's on Shane's part, in all honesty. As for Juan Manuel Marquez, he's coming off first round stoppage over Laika Ramos, I believe, which was a complete joke. I don't even know if he landed a clean punch. The guy went down and just stayed down. That was a don't hold that against Marquez, of course, but the opponent. That guy was hopefully he'll never box again. Before that, though, he had the TKO win over Michael Katsidis, which was a hell of a fight, and kind of can give you a little bit what to look for possibly in this fight, at least in a moment or two from that fight. Not the fight as a whole, because obviously Manny Pacquiao is a much superior fighter to Michael Katsidis. Biggest factors I think going into this third fight, as opposed to the first two, obviously weight. The fight's going to be, I think it's contracted at 144, I believe. Weight limit, something like that, which we already saw Marquez go up in weight for the Floyd Mayweather bout, and yeah, we saw how that worked out for him, or didn't. So I think anytime we see Marquez above lightweight 135, it's going to take a little bit away from him. It's going to slow him down. It may give him more power, but I don't think that's really going to be a issue here. He's never really been a big power puncher, and even if he gains, he's working on gaining speed and power. He's not going to be able to match Manny Pacquiao in those departments regardless. So I actually think the lighter he comes in, the more it may benefit him, although that may also work against him as far as taking Pacquiao's power at a higher weight, who is obviously going to be at a higher weight than their previous two fights, as well as age. I think is a factor. Juan Manuel Marquez is now 38 years old, a lot of miles on the odometer, so to speak. And like I said, mentioned the Katsidis fight earlier. He got knocked down in that fight. Now, granted, he got up, fought his ass off for the rest of that round. But I just wonder, with the size disparity, with age, with just everything compiled, if he gets knocked down by Manny Pacquiao in this fight, once again, will he be able to recover as he has been in the past? Manny Pacquiao's a lot bigger punch, I think, at welterweight than he has at lightweight. So I think that could be an issue. Plus, the older you get, the more damage you accumulate over time, the less, the worse your chin gets. Let's just say that. So, I don't know. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue. I mean, I don't know. I can't say hopefully. If it happens, it happens, It's part of the fight game. I watched the second fight this morning before I want to do this prediction. Still a very close fight. I actually think Juan Manuel Marquez, personally, I thought he won more rounds. I thought he did enough to win the fight, but you can make a case for either guy. No real discrepancy with the decision, so to speak. So it was a really close fight, but I mean, you just see the damage on their faces that Manny Pacquiao's punches do a lot more damage than Juan Manuel Marquez has done. And I think that's Marquez's biggest issue in this matchup, is the fact that he doesn't really have, although he's caught Manny flush with quite a few punches and has been able to kind of hold his momentum at times, he doesn't really have the power to really threaten or hurt Manny Pacquiao. And I think that just becomes an issue because when you're a fighter and you don't feel threatened by your opponent, you can be a little bit more aggressive in your style. Sure, Marquez is a great counterpuncher, and he more so than any of Pacquiao's other opponents has been able to capitalize with his counterpunching on Pacquiao's aggression. But still, like I said, he's not really able to threaten Manny Pacquiao with power. He doesn't instill that kind of fear in Manny Pacquiao that he has to worry about getting hurt or knocked down, as opposed to when he's been fighting some of the bigger guys as of late. I actually think that Manny Pacquiao does better, or Juan Manuel Marquez does better against Manny Pacquiao at times when he's moving forward, particularly with that right hand, that overhand right he's been able to land times, and also with the left uppercut. He's got that sneaky left uppercut and that left hook to the body. So, although I think he's a great counterpuncher, and it's something, like I said, works great against Manny Pacquiao, I do think that he also does well moving forward against Manny Pacquiao. Of course, that also leaves himself open for Manny Pacquiao's counters as well, particularly his left hook. Who do I favor in the fight? I got to go with Manny Pacquiao this time around. Like I said, mostly for the reasons I mentioned. The age, the height, the weight difference, things like that. Otherwise, all things being even, it'd be pretty much a coin toss to me, just like the first two fights. But with those differences, age and weight now playing a factor, I got to favor Manny Pacquiao to win this fight. He's been beating a lot bigger guys lately, like Shane Mosley, Antonio Margarito, and Miguel Cotto, who are just much, much bigger men than Juan Manuel Marquez and pretty much having his way with them. So, although I don't think he's going to have his way with Juan Manuel Marquez in the same aspects as he did with those fighters, I do think that he should be able to do better. I think his punches are going to have much more effect on Juan Manuel Marquez than in their prior fights and do more damage and possibly cut him up or just be able to hurt him worse than he has in the past. As for Marquez, just got to play a smart game, man. I know he likes to stand there and trade at times. These two have had a lot of heated exchanges in their fights, but that just doesn't. It's not in his best interest, to do it continuously because eventually he's going to get caught with a big shot and get dropped. And like I said, he may not be able to recover as he has in the past. So just got to stick and move, play the counter game, look for your spots, and just not let the machismo of your Mexican background get the best of you in in the heat of the battle. One more thing. If you watch this fight on HBO pay-per-view, be sure and don't be swayed by the HBO commentary. Upon watching the rematch, one thing that clearly stood out to me was, HBO commentary is very biased. It's just obvious. You can usually tell who the house fighter is, so to speak. But Jim Lampley is a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. I think it's quite evident when you listen to his commentary during the second fight. I believe it was around round 9, where he's like something about Marquez. He could be winning this round, but it's not likely. And yet Harold Letterman and the 3 judges all had that round for Marquez. So it just goes to show who he favors in between these two fighters. He doesn't really let he's not really very neutral when it comes to these fighters or Manny Pacquiao in general. So don't be swayed by the commentary. Just watch the action for itself and judge the fight with your own 2 eyes if you can, without being influenced by other factors. But yeah, I got Manny Pacquiao, and I think he'll probably be able to stop Juan Marquez. I would like to go to decision. Be interesting to see how the scorecards play out a third time around. But I favor Manny Pacquiao by a late round stoppage, whether it be by cuts or by just hurting Marquez and Marquez getting up and then just finishing him off. So maybe round 9 or 10, if it doesn't go to decision. That's it for now, though. One of your guys' thoughts on this fight? Who do you favor and why? What do you think the biggest factors are going into this third bout? Who did you have winning the first 2 bouts? I actually had the first one, thought a draw was cool. Second one, I thought Marquez edged it, but like I said, I have no real issues with the decision. Although I thought that could have been declared a draw just as well. But I want your guys' thoughts on what you had the first 2 bouts looking like, and who you see winning this one and why. That's it for now, though. Probably back next weekend maybe to talk about the results afterwards. But until then, I'm out.